Welcome to DAX Machina. Join us as we explore the mysteries of this world. Cryptids, monsters, macabre tales, and horror stories abound. Could they be true? Are monsters real?
Good evening, folks, and thank you for joining us on another edition of DAX Machina. Joining me in the crowd tonight is Robbie Rip Rain and Carrie Pocket Doc Davis, my not so twin brothers from other mothers. Doc's the purty one.
I don't know about all that. You need to get better glasses, son. Lord.
Mom always doted on the frowner.
I might be pretty. I'm just pretty ugly.
Boys, how you guys doing tonight?
I'm tired, but I'm here.
I'm so tired. My ass is dragging my tracks out.
Been there.
But
Hey, we just got a new member. Jake Light just became a member of the channel.
Hey, Jack, welcome to the DAX Machination. Thank you for being part of the channel. Thanks, dude. Well, you know, before we get started, I would like to say one thing, folks. Yeah, we often ask you guys to keep folks in your prayers. Keep Doc's family in your prayers. And he's probably not going to say anything, but his family's going through some issues right now. They could use your prayers. Also keep William Nighthawk in your prayers. He's still battling his health issues. And Pat Kennedy, who's in and out of the chat quite a bit. Miss Lene, keep her in your prayers. We got a lot of good folks that are part of the family here, and we want to make sure they stay with us for a long, long time. So, you know, now that I've had that, had that out of my mouth there, we do have some really cool updates. Doc has just completed the transition, moving Dark Angel Medical to its new home, which that's a big step up for Doc, and I'm damn happy for him.
yes,
He's been working his little butt off, taking 2 steps for a normal person's, one. But
that's fact. That's a fact.
I would have gone a little farther if you hadn't. Had to take 2 steps for everybody else's. But
that's a fact. Oh man.
And Robbie has been busier than a one-legged man in a butt kicking contest at work. So can't go into details because they are active police investigations. But let's just say Robbie's been busy.
Let's just say Robbie's earned his promotion from the other day.
Oh yes. Did everybody else know about this?
Yeah, DA announced.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Okay.
So good things come, but they come at a price, folks. You got to work your butt off, and these guys are putting in the work. So very proud of my brothers. Both working very, very hard and doing the things they love, and I'm damn proud of them.
Sure.
Thank you.
Folks, tonight is going to be a good one. We're going to be talking about Dogman and the possibility, the very real possibility that the government is using it for very nefarious purposes. We've come across some recent articles, shall we say, that while the articles themselves are impossible to corroborate, they are very compelling. And while I was doing some research, I did find oddly enough, some government programs that, well, it seemed to coincide with those same times where they were trying to create super soldiers. So really bizarre how these things just seem to fall in line. And, Doc is the one that found it and brought it to our attention. So I'll let Doc kind of give us a little bit of background on it. Doc, you want to jump in on that?
Yeah, I had to pull it up. But
I've got it pulled up. I can send you the link.
Okay. The basic gist of it is when I was reading this article, it made me think back to the episode that we had when the gentleman who's a truck driver shot a dogman came and grabbed his 18-wheeler. And he said, before he even got down the road, people showed up in, a uniform type of situation with, matching polos and khakis and things like that. And I can't quite remember all the details of it, but it really made me start thinking about it. And I saw this article and I was like, man, DA and Robbie need to see this. And so I sent it out to them, and they had mentioned some other stuff. They mentioned the Amazon driver in Missouri. They mentioned the LBL. I don't think they mentioned Joe Bald. Maybe they did. I think they might have mentioned Joe Bald.
I can't
They-
remember if it was or not, but it wouldn't surprise me if it had been in there.
Yeah,
Well, Doc, I just sent you the actual link itself. So
okay.
if you want to pull it up, yeah, you can. We can start. Robbie, it's in the co-host chat. If you want to pull it up, so we've got it right there. We've got it. That way we can all kind of be talking from the same page. I'm also going to send you guys the link on the experiments that I found that kind of coincide with this. So that'll be in the co-host chat, boys. I'll just pump it in once.
Yeah, stop making my damn password.
I was going to say that to you guys before we started the show, but we got to talking, and the next thing I knew, it was 8 o'clock.
There we go.
Gareth Trump says, glad to be a member of the DAX Machina Nation. Well, brother, we're proud to have you. Thanks for being here. Spy in the Sky says underground dumbs, which underground dumbs are deep underground military bases, and they may play a factor in this. So let's let Doc kick this thing off, and we're gonna chase a rabbit down the rabbit hole for a good long distance tonight.
Yeah, and we've talked about the the Rougarou and everything like that, the swamp monster and down Louisiana, or in the swamps in the Pearl River Basin, Atchafalaya Basin, everything down there. And basically, this article started out talking about how there was an actual werewolf breeding program started in 1952 and ended in 2008. There were estimated over 22,000 bred released in the lower 50 states. Life expectancy is about 68 years old. The height they're guessing on this of 8 feet, weighing around 800 pounds, and they were down in the swamps of Louisiana, where Houma, Louisiana is where a lot of the sightings have been seen, and that's where a lot of the Rougarou stuff came from. But that's been older, even older than that. But it definitely helped keep the lore going, the myth or the legend, not the myth, the legend going. It was basically a program to produce super soldiers. They were released also into other countries, Mexico, South Africa, Russia, and carefully monitored and were kept under strict conditions. There's been people in Virginia who've had encounters. And the thing is, when people are killed, it's always reported as a mountain lion, bear, pit bull dog attack, and it goes further, even saying that Homeland Security is the agency that is tasked at tracking these beasts, which is why they're the first ones to show up after an incident, which is what led me to think about the incident down in Florida with that truck driver. It was Florida, was it not?
No, he was up in, I believe, it's Wisconsin.
Okay, Wisconsin. My bad. Sorry. And then the delivery driver in Amazon, they said they claim they shot dogs that did it, but they couldn't confirm or deny if the dogs actually did it or not because the wounds were not consistent with that size animal. It was the driver was just ripped to shreds from everything that we could read.
That was in Ray County, Missouri, and both the sheriff and the coroner had said to somebody I know personally that the body was torn up worse than any they'd ever recovered in their careers.
Yeah, and way more than what a dog could do. And this experimental program was basically, you had to have a really good candidate, strong physical fitness, and it was genetic engineering. It was basically genetic engineering procedures where they actually had to isolate DNA from the werewolf and the human, do all kinds of genetic splicing, things like that, called ligating the DNA using an enzyme actually called ligase that joins DNA strands together. So once they start producing those proteins from the werewolf DNA, that shows that has been successful. So that's just the tip of the iceberg, man. And it seems very fantastic. It seems very, to a lot of people, very out there. But based on what we've talked about on the show, it kind of goes hand in hand with everything we've talked about.
I wonder if this is where, you remember the book I told you about, D.A. Craig Zerf, about that now hearing Doc say it, reading it, it didn't click with me. Just hearing Doc talk about it, click with me. That sounds exactly like the storyline he laid out in his books. I wonder if he got that from some of these articles that Doc found. because that's almost identical to how he explained. Because it was a genetically made werewolf super soldier.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, this said that they combined these human volunteers, whether or not they were volunteers or volunteers. That's completely neither here nor there. But they were requiring specific physical fitness and mental standards. They were looking for prime candidates who could handle the transformation. But they said that they combined them with werewolf DNA. Now, if the original classic werewolf with myth is to be believed, the original werewolf stories, they didn't really need the werewolf DNA. They just needed to get them bit. So I don't know if they're what they're calling werewolf, because back in '58 when this program supposedly started, there was no term for dogman. Nobody had ever heard of it. So if they saw something like that, they very likely would have called it a werewolf. I think they were using dogman DNA to try to splice into these soldiers to make them controllable. And we know dogman sightings go back to the Roman Empire, the cynocephalus.
Right.
So we've got thousands of years of dogman sighting. And a lot of people have said, "Oh, dogman was a weaponized creation by the U.S. military." I still don't believe the military created it, but I certainly think they've tried to weaponize it.
Yeah,
But
I think they tried, like you said, they weaponize it, perfect it, so to speak. Get have all the benefits of the strength and the healing abilities, things like that, and the size and speed and everything like that, but without the overt, uncontrollable aggressiveness.
so
Right.
where was the term dogman coined? Where was that first coined, and where did it come
I
from?
believe that was first coined by Linda Godfrey when she first started investigating the Beast of Bray Road.
So pretty much before that, these were werewolves. Is what they
Yeah,
were.
that's pretty
What they
much
were
what
called.
people referred them.
So
Well, of course, the Cherokee had the term Ulonga Doglala, the
right.
spirit with knife teeth. There are lots of different words for this same type of creature
Yeah.
in different cultures. Cynocephalus, cynocephali. So there are people describing this type of creature for centuries. Way before 1958 when this experiment was supposedly carried out. However,
So
yeah,
we're in the same scenario here as we are with Bigfoot. Everybody's Bigfoot is a universal term used to describe every one of these creatures.
Right.
This is like a tissue being a Kleenex, or a carbonated beverage being a Coke.
Correct.
Right.
People are using one term to
describe all this one type of creature. Thank you for
Right.
pointing that out, Miss Naoma. It was a disc jockey in Wisconsin that coined the Michigan dogman that coined the phrase, not Linda Godfrey. I was incorrect about that. Thank you, Naoma. Anyway, go ahead, Robbie. Sorry about that.
Well, I was just saying. So we're in that same situation where we've had a generalized term that's just used. So what we've talked about before, that there could actually be something that what we call a werewolf actually out there, but it's what basically
it's a different subset.
Right.
Basically all it is. It's just a different subset. Yeah. So it is very, very, very interesting. And like I said, whenever I saw this, I was like, man, y'all got to see this. I was like, this, because it was really, really fascinating to me. So.
Yeah, to me, it's just very compelling. And then when you compare the some of the other programs that we find, it becomes all the more compelling.
Well, yeah, it's just like all these little pieces are out there, and if you start making connections between them, you're like, huh, somebody might actually be onto something here with this stuff. And because people will poo-poo them and say, oh, they're one of those crazy conspiracy theorists or something like that. But let's look at the track record of conspiracy theorists as of late. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if you go to any bookstore, what used to be in the conspiracy section has all been moved to current events.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And you said that you were talking about the experimentation. You found some interesting information on experimentation too.
Yeah, apparently from 1948 to 1975, the United States Army at a place called Edgewood Arsenal was doing human experiments. This was the U.S. Army Chemical Corps. They were conducting classified human subject research at the Edgewood Arsenal facility in Maryland. The purpose was to evaluate the impact of low-dose chemical warfare agents on military personnel and to test protective clothing, pharmaceuticals, and vaccines. A small portion of these studies were directed at psychochemical warfare and grouped under the prosaic of Medical Research Volunteer Program 1956 to 1975. The MRVP was also driven by intelligence requirements and the need for more and more interrogation techniques. So they were trying to create people that were immune to chemical warfare.
How many of these things like that are on the surface are looked at as, this is what they're at, or what they're looking at, but start digging deep and peeling the layers back, it's actually something else underneath. So if it was coined as we're trying to, figure out or make, we're trying to stop people with chemicals from hurting people or whatever they're using in wars and things like that, gives them carte blanche to go get all these chemicals that they need to do all this genetic engineering and all this stuff. But they're under that umbrella of we're doing this, but we're really doing this. How many that's such a popular, motif in all these books and movies and stuff like that, which what we always say, Doc, these movies and things like that, they're not there just because somebody was that creative and dreamed everything up like that. They've heard something like this before.
Or they're just out and out telling you, right there. I mean, this goes all the way back to World War II when they were talking about this stuff in Edgewood Arsenal. They were using psychoactive compounds during interrogation, on and experimenting with people, and even Nazi Germany, the doctors and scientists there kind of had done similar things before the end of the war. So they were just kind of carrying on those experiments until it got shut down because of ethics concerns.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's always got to be a front to all this stuff. There's got to be something to show the public and the people up that have the good morals or whatever. Oh yeah, this is what we're doing.
Correct.
But then back over here, behind the scenes, underneath all these layers, they're actually doing XYZ.
Yeah, well, the government has always been very good at look at what this hand's doing. Look at what this hand. Don't pay attention to what's going on over here. Look at this hand.
They wouldn't do that.
No, not our government. No,
not any government. And that's what's so funny about it. And people think that, and I'm talking general people that just are good people that just really don't. And I'm not calling anybody stupid or anybody dumb, but just people who just don't think about things like that. And our government is always portrayed as the good guys, but there's not really any government that's a true good guy. Every government is out for themselves. And if the general public knew some of the stuff that our government did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and Naomi just hit the nail right on the head. She said, the federal, no, damn it, Bobby. Let's see here. The doctors and scientists in Germany did their thing over there. Then the recently immigrated German doctors and scientists did their thing over here. She's absolutely right. I mean, hell, let's look at our space program. A lot of the technology we have for all of our rocket propulsion was from Werner von Braun, who was one of the leading rocket scientists who helped develop the V1 and V2 missiles.
Yep.
Or rockets over in Germany that struck England. So yeah, I mean, there was a lot of that technology that they just, like she said, they just carried it from there to here, and we're still doing the same type of research. And because what were the Germans doing? They were trying to create a super soldier as well, were they not?
Yep,
exactly.
Well, just if you look at the Captain America comic book, that mirrors what they were doing in real life.
Absolutely.
The Red Skull and Captain America, that mirrors what was going on in real life.
Absolutely.
The Germans were trying everything they could to make a super soldier to win the war.
Yeah. Art imitates life, man. It really does. Art imitates life.
But and we wouldn't have won the space race had we not got Warner over here.
No.
I mean, he's the reason we won the space race.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, it's just it's a weird thing, and and it's like David By said something about how they took his DNA when he was in the military, and they lost it and then had to take it again. I remember as an air crew member, they were like, "Hey, we're going to be doing DNA swabs on everybody here at the squadron, in case y'all get splattered in a by a surface to air missile or something like that. We can still identify you using your DNA." And of course, what are we going to say? Oh, well, that's plausible, But were they doing it for other nefarious reasons?
Yeah, they could have been screening that DNA looking for perfect candidates for this program.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. I don't know, man. I mean, people are going to be like, "Oh man, y'all are really reaching," but I don't know, man. Like I said, all these little puzzle pieces, when they start fitting together, you gotta see El Photo Grande, and and for what it really is.
And you can say, I mean, you can say reaching all you want, but the best analogy for that is if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck.
It ain't a platypus.
No. So I mean, if you've got, you start uncovering articles like you found, Doc, and then that prompts DA, and he finds this other article.
Like I said, there's those pieces right there. And
our government's got a history of doing crap like that, like MK Ultra and
MK Ultra. I was just thinking about that earlier. Absolutely.
And right after World War II, when they took all those soldiers out and set them out in the desert and set off a nuclear bomb just to study the effect of what it would have on them.
Somebody was just talking about it, man.
The Tuskegee Institute, what they did down there, exposing all those guys to to syphilis, just to study how it would affect them.
Absolutely. And they almost says, in answer to your question, Doc, the government only considers it nefarious if the ends does not justify the means. Spot on, Miss Naoma.
Well, how many times during Vietnam did our soldiers get hit with Agent Orange
accidentally? Yeah. I mean, they knew where those dudes were. I mean, and they sprayed that defoliant there. I mean, come on.
Okay, let's see what it does.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, I mean, what better way to see than have somebody who's voluntold,
Mm-hmm.
Go find this Vietnamese group that's killing American GIs. They're somewhere over here.
Right. So, like in the cases of the Giants of Kandahar, when Special Forces troops took out these creatures and they were whisked away in special aircraft, I don't think they were whisked away to be kept quiet.
No.
These types of things are probably being studied to look for a way to weaponize them.
Yeah, they damn sure didn't send them to the Smithsonian.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So I mean, yeah, there's so much stuff, man. So much stuff going on. And just like when when I was reading that article and it was talking about Homeland, how it was under the purvey of or the purview of Homeland Security.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the first people that showed up when that truck driver had that incident?
Yeah.
Homeland Security. So
Mondoc says, back when I was a vet service officer, I helped an atomic vet. He said all the people in his unit that were downwind died. He was upwind and lived.
Mercy, day in the morning.
That's our own government, folks.
That's horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible.
Well, and talking about all these underground, I mean, how many pictures have we found on things that could very well possibly be the silhouettes that you're seeing above ground of a big underground facility.
No, the domes. Yeah.
I mean, and this goes back to your theory about Roosevelt and all that national park. He did that for a reason. I don't think it was for the reason for the government to use it for this, but I think the regimes after that are like,
Yeah.
He set aside all this land. Man, that can't nobody do anything. That's a perfect place to, hide in plain sight, basically.
Oh, I totally agree.
Yeah, it's really weird, man. And like somebody just said here, they're going to try to weaponize multi-story 63, so the government will try to weaponize anything at our expense. And I believe that, man. I mean, and Naoma had said it, as long as the ends justify the means, to them, it's not a bad thing. And I just, the older I get, the more distrustful I become. Maybe I'm just a salty old NCO, I don't know.
Well, collateral damage doesn't mean anything to them as long as the odds, or not the odds, what's the word I'm looking for? As long as the percentage is below a certain amount, they're okay with it.
Well,
it's called the ACLR, the acceptable civilian loss rate.
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird, man.
Marcinko talked about that in one of his books. He talked about
did.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons that they put him in Leavenworth, because he was like, this is BS. I'm not dealing with this.
Yeah,
I'm not going in. Yeah, he did, and and they couldn't control him, and that's why they put him in Leavenworth for however many years he was in there, because he would not conform to what they wanted him to conform to.
Right.
Yeah, just like, hey, well, that's a perfect example of what we were just talking about. Red Cell. That on the top layer, Red Cell was to go and test the security of all these top level military bases.
And
we know that they wasn't really that. I mean, they were doing it, but that wasn't their ultimate goal.
Mm-hmm.
So here, he's testing the security of these bases. I'm going over here and doing all this, but he made some of these high level admirals and generals and people like that look so stupid. How easily that's what ended up starting him getting in trouble.
Right. Yeah.
Jack Max says, do you think the Dogman and Rake programs are working together, or is it competition like RoboCop versus Ed 209? I don't think the Rake is a government program. I think the Rake is a type of Wendigo.
Yeah, we talked about that the other night.
I definitely think the government has weaponized Dogman, but I don't think the Rake is something that they could feasibly even try to control, because I don't think it's natural. I think the Wendigo is an entirely supernatural thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's look at it this way. We know for a fact our government has tried to weaponize dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a known and proven fact. If you'll try to weaponize a dolphin and you've got something in the wild like a Dogman.
Smedley Do-Right says, did the Soviets try to use apes for their super soldiers? Yeah, during World War II, they tried to crossbreed humans with gorillas and chimpanzees. The program didn't work, but they tried it. Thad Brown says, do you think dogmen were created? I don't think so. I think dogmen have been here for a long time. I think because cases going back to Marco Polo and beyond, the Roman Empire, the Greek Empire, Saint Christopher, the dog-headed saint. I think the dogmen have been here for a very long time, probably as long as we have. But I certainly think the government did not pass up on the opportunity to weaponize them.
Yep. It's just, but Doc just hit the nail on the head. When you start looking at these little, you look at this right here by itself doesn't mean a whole lot, or this one right over here might not mean a whole lot. But when you start looking at two or three of them together, it's just like like in law enforcement, the totality of this situation.
It's just law enforcement and medicine. You have to investigate, right? You have to do have to do detective work to come to a logical conclusion. And you look at the pieces of evidence that are presented to you. And like somebody in here even said, man, this is just the stuff we can find info on.
Yeah.
It would curl people's toenails if they knew what was not being told. My God, I mean, we'd be running around in terror all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's like doing like if I stop a car and I'm trying to find dope in a car, I go up to a car and I see a bunch of air fresheners. Okay, that's an indicator, but by itself that doesn't really mean that much. Then I see a bunch of food bags, fast food bags with that. Well, that starts. Oh, okay. Then you see a lot of luggage. Okay, here your interest starts peaking up.
See some Visine.
Yeah, but well, that too, and you start adding all these indicators together, and things start adding up, and you're like, okay, there's probably dope in that car. Same thing here. You see one article over here. Oh, well, okay, that's a pretty cool article. But then that article leads you to this article over here.
Correct.
Well, that's a good article. Well, some of that article ties into this article, but then this article leads you here, and it all starts tying together.
I'm a very scientific person, man. I don't jump to conclusions on this stuff, but there's so many different instances along the same vein that it's hard not to say, hey, what the hell, Okay. This is a good question from Mark Napier. He says, if they're super soldiers, why is there so much activity on so much dogman activity on our southern border?
Well, in the article, it said that the ones that were bred, and how many did you say were bred? Several thousand?
It was like over 22,000.
Yeah, but they were released in different parts of the world. Some in Russia. A great deal of them were released in Mexico. So they could be moved. They could just be coming north.
Yeah.
Deborah Norseworthy. Yeah. Deborah Norseworthy says, I think they discovered a dogman body somewhere and created from there. Notice there's no report of pregnant females and most are males. Yeah, I don't know that I've ever had a dogman encounter where they said it was they could tell it was female. The one I saw, I couldn't really tell you about what gender it had. It didn't have the wiener up the front like a dog does on its belly. It was a silhouette. I didn't really see it too terribly well to see that kind of details.
And here's the thing: different species do things differently. How do we know that females are not back at the den, the lair, or whatever, protecting the young, and the males are out hunting? That's why we always see the males, because that's who's out doing the hunting. I mean, it could be something as simple as that. You never know. And that may be why you don't see the females. Kind of like a certain book that I remember reading something about where all the females were back in the cave taking care of Doc, you remember that book?
Maybe. I don't know. It might ring a bell.
Some
Sounds vaguely familiar.
Some apex something or another.
Yeah.
Roxanne Delgado says, DA, is there any First Nation saying what it means when you have a dream with dogmen and a werewolf in it? That would be a question for William Nighthawk. I'm not as well schooled in that end of Native American lore. That would be a really good question for William. Hopefully, if he'll be in the chat tonight, you might be able to ask him.
Yikes! Might be a good thing.
Miss Naoma was talking about Josh Turner. One of the accounts he took in Texas mentioned female dogmen and even pups in one of the encounter stories from somewhere in Texas. I need to find that and read that encounter. There was another comment earlier. Where was it at? Let me find it. Comments are flying so fast. It's hard.
Comments are rolling, man.
Here's a good one, DA. We've talked about this one before, but let me get it.
I found the one I was looking for. Nick says, I do have a different take on Rake Wendigo thing. They were people that were from the Dumbs. Oh, now I lost it. that were from the dumbs that got to the surface. The man-eating aspect is much more prevalent on them than what is normal. I don't think that is the case, because Wendigo and Wendigo lore goes back since before white men came to North America. There was a Native American stories of the Wendigo dating back hundreds of years. So I don't think, and I think the rake is just a type of Wendigo. So based on a lot of the Native American descriptions of the Wendigo. So again, there are no experts in this field. I'm not gonna say that I'm right and you're wrong, or you're right and I'm wrong. I'm just saying we've got a difference of opinion. But that's what I think.
We can, and this question here, we kind of hit on this earlier about werewolves and dogmen being two different beings. That we may have just come up with the answer for that earlier when you said that, before what was the date you said, DA?
1958 through
1958. That the term dogman was never even
it wasn't even heard of
before 1958. So before that, pretty much everything was a werewolf. So,
well, that was even 1958. It was a werewolf. I mean, the term dogman didn't come around until I think it was the late 90s.
I'm just saying everything before that was werewolf. Now you've got werewolf and dogman, but prior to 1958, everything like this would have been described as a werewolf.
Little Patty says, I still like to know if female dogman has a litter or single births. It's impossible to say without knowing more about the species. They could take after the dog side and have a whole litter, or they could take after their human side and be, multiple births be kind of a rarity. So it's impossible to know. We know they're giving birth to at least one, and one seems to be bad enough. Toshi says, we don't know, because if anyone has gotten close to these things, it might have been the last time they encountered these cryptids. That's true. Encountering one of these things, if it's a bad aggressive encounter, you might not live to tell the tale. Richard Cox says, if they're having litters, we're in real trouble. You ain't wrong. I would say that because they're especially the ones that were released by the government, some 22,000 of them. And again, this is just a great big guess, but if they're genetically engineered, they might not be viable. They might not be able to breed.
Yeah, they could be sterile. Someone had a good comment that said Dark Waters has a migration map of the dogman from South America into North America.
Nice. I need to find that. I need to reach out to Dark Waters and pick his brain. So we know the government has lots of times done experiments, both willingly and unwillingly, on our citizens to do things like along these lines, like trying to breed perfect soldiers, trying to see how people react to both chemical warfare and nuclear exposures. They're not above this.
Yeah, I mean it's. I don't know, Robbie. Go ahead, man.
No, I was just gonna say I totally agree with that, because I'm not gonna get into a big debate about this, but we're seeing a big debate on that very topic right now, and over the past couple of years. Without getting into it, you both know what I'm talking about, and you got both sides of the coin on that. So I mean, if we can sit there and say that it's a possibility on that, how can we say it's not a possibility on this other stuff?
Yeah, entirely. Steve Padden says, so what you're saying is Wild in the Woods carry plenty of Kong toys with peanut butter in them for dogmen distractionary devices? Might work. There's another one. Karen Polson says, do you think it has any human DNA or strictly canine? Again, I think the ones that are the original ones, the cynocephalus, the cynocephali, I think they are a species unto themselves. But I think it's from that species that they gene spliced to humans to try to in this weaponization program. So I firmly believe they did it. I think that they gene spliced one species onto ours because they were similar DNA, not necessarily enough, close enough. Probably not close enough to crossbreed, but when they start playing, as Ian Malcolm said, life finds a way. They when they start playing God with DNA, God knows what they're going to be able to come up with.
Yep.
Recombinant DNA, can combine the elements of lots of different things.
Well, when you start looking at the genetic difference of the 2% between us and chimpanzees, and how a lot of people hear 2% and think, oh, that's not that much. But what that 2% encompasses
is a lot.
So if you hit that genetic code and start, pardon my French, dicking around with what's in within that, there's no telling what you can come up with.
That sounded like English to me, Robbie. That didn't sound like French. I don't parlez-vous the français, but
I took a little bit of it in school.
Nick says, I think that given that there are different types, I'd say it's a mix. Type 1 dogmen would have a litter. Type 3s likely single birth or sterile, and then type 3s are worse. It's anybody's guess, man. Your guess is as good as mine on that. We don't have enough information to even really form an educated guess on their birth rate, let alone birth numbers.
Sorry, Toombs. I'll try better next time, or I'll try harder next time. I almost went to my Andy Griffith there when you said that, Doc. I learned a little bit over there in the wall. Do, toi. Why ain't you moving? We don't understand French. Greatest show ever created.
I agree.
Poncho Zort says, my dogman experience, there were Missouri Wildlife and Corps of Engineers supposedly hunting hogs with helicopters. Poncho, refresh my memory. Where was that at?
I'd be interested to hear about that one.
Yeah, we need to hear more about that one.
You know we should bring back DA too. Reading the encounters.
We definitely need to do that. Yeah, we definitely need to do that.
You just won't laugh at me for having to read a big long thing, so you can laugh at my accent, dog.
I do declare my monosyllabic friends. Sometimes his aptitude is a little bit challenged.
What do you say, DA?
What do you say?
He said you're dumb.
Oh, why didn't you just say that?
This here says, I'm not sure if it was a dogman or a werewolf, if there is such a difference, but the size of the thing's head made me want to pee myself. I had the shakes all over after two kids with me as well. My hands shook for a better part of 45 minutes to an hour after the one I saw in LBL, and its head was way wider than mine. Yeah, these things got a big old noggin on them.
Yeah. I got a big old Charlie Brown head too, so.
Rich Cox says, Doc, you have a Bat Masterson look about you tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Blondes and Booze. They said, I had a park ranger tell me at the LBL that their two kids saw dogmen, and they have over 15 reports of Bigfoot sightings right there in the campground that we stay at. Let me know which campground y'all stay at, because when me and the boys head out that way, we'd like to go check that area out.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird crap going on in the LBL. There are. Poncho says, Old Greenville recreational area, Greenville, Missouri. If I remember correctly, Greenville ain't very far from here. Let me consult my map.
Let me consult the oracle.
Yeah.
Greenville ain't very far from here neither. Greenville, South Carolina, that is.
It's a long way from me.
Ain't no Greenville, Colorado. Colorado.
I don't know. Might be.
Seems like there's a Greenville everywhere.
Yeah. Hell, there's a Starkville, Texas, I think.
Oh, it's down by Poplar Bluff. Okay. Yeah, that's a little farther away than I thought it was.
This over
there's
here
one
asks what's
just
the
outside
LBL?
Springfield is Green Field.
Okay.
Isn't that a place that makes bagels? Or as a-
What was it? What was the one you said?
Oh, Blondes and Booze answered her.
Okay.
She was asking what LBL was, Land Between the Lakes. And that's out Tennessee, Kentucky area.
Yeah, it's right on the Kentucky-Tennessee border. It's over 100,000 acres of preserved wilderness.
Mercy Bay.
With the Wind says, I can't tell Dogman is or is not genetically altered or not, but from encounters they appear intelligent, pack-oriented, vary in age, varied physical appearances. Hyena wolf ones are the ones I've seen. Yeah, they do. The descriptions vary, especially in different parts of the country, but they are all definitely described as being intelligent.
Yep.
Roxanne Delgado says, I read an article yesterday somewhere Washington State or Oregon State, the wolves are not afraid of humans, and they're warning people about it. I've been saying for a while that I think certain animal species are starting to lose their fear of us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that goes back to what we talked about the Black Plague of the 21st century and us being out for 2+ years.
Correct.
Nature taking back over, because it doesn't take long for that to happen.
S. Dresden says, I tend to think that if Dogman possessed human intelligence, it would be more likely to give humans a wide berth when at all possible and to be fully aware of what we're capable of. Exactly. We've been saying that about both Dogman and Bigfoot. They're smart enough to know that humans equal danger, especially when humans have got a bang stick in their hands.
That's right.
Bigfoot is a big critter, sometimes reported as much as 15 feet tall, yet they remain completely elusive in the woods.
Well, I mean,
they don't.
Here we go. Just look at the examples in nature. Intelligent animals, and people talk about turkeys, but turkeys are very smart. You see them son of guns all year long, and the day before turkey season, you will not. They're gone. It's like they never existed.
Yeah, they vanish like smoke in the wind.
Yeah, deer the same way. You see
deer, I was gonna say,
all the time.
I've seen 20 turkeys underneath my deer stand, and then turkey season starts, nothing. But I see all the deer that I didn't see in deer season during turkey season.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
they learn when those seasons are, and they react.
I'm gonna have to pop out just for a second. I gotta go put the chickens up. So
I'll be right back. Ann Lang says, I'm new to the topic. Are the natural dogmen in particular types of environments? Dogmen have been reported in pretty much every environment. They've been reported in the deserts of the southwest. They've been reported in the deep woods. They've been reported in wet environments like the Rougarou of the swamps of Louisiana. It's because they're that intelligent. I wouldn't necessarily say that dogmen are human level intelligence, but I would say near human. Certainly, they're far more intelligent than your average predator. They're able to adapt to their environment.
Just look how smart canines are in general.
Oh yeah.
I mean, look at what people can teach dogs to do. I mean, there's dogs that can smell cancer, for crying out loud. I mean, so if canines are that smart, wolves are smart. We know they're intelligent. It's not that far of a reach to believe if this has got canine DNA in it, then it's gonna have some intelligence in it. I mean, yeah, you can look at Harley and tell he's reasoning stuff out, right?
Oh yeah, he can tell he's working things out for himself.
Yeah, I can look at Bucky and be talking to him, and he's looking at me, and I know he's listening to what I'm saying. Now, I don't know what he's comprehending inside that canine brain, but he is looking at me and he's listening to me.
I know Harley's got an impressive vocabulary. There are a lot of words. He knows exactly what you're talking about when you say it.
I mean, just look at I'm not trying to offend any cat people, but you talk to a cat, what happens?
It either ignores you or walks off.
Hey, I'm talking to you. So cats either don't have that intelligence factor that dogs do,
or they just don't care.
Exactly. But you talk to your dog's like,
yeah, he's working out trying to figure out what you're saying. Wasatch Sasquatch, Says here in Utah, come hunting season and fall, I magically start hearing Bigfoot around hiking areas where you can't shoot. They're smart, dude. They are just like deer in deer season, just like Doc was saying. There are areas of where I used to deer hunt that you could go out a week before deer season and there you could throw a rock without hitting a damn deer. Opening day, it's a ghost town.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my brother said for years that had he not seen the deer that I killed, he would believe that they were mythical creatures because he would go out and hunt and hunt and hunt. He was 30-something years old before he shot his first deer because he's like, they're mythical creatures. I don't care. I don't care what you say. Because I don't see them during deer season.
They're very smart and they don't want to get shot, so I don't blame them. Jack Mack says, what differentiates dogman from werewolf? If you go by classic mythology, classic legends, the werewolf supposedly has the ability to shape change back and forth. Whether they're in control of it or whether it happens at the full moon, that depends on the version of the lore. I, however, think that the werewolf lore, where people were trying to explain what werewolf was just a primitive group of people trying to explain a dogman. I think the werewolf legend. I think dogmen gave the creatures, the cynocephali. I think they gave rise to the werewolf legend. I think it was easier for people to explain that somebody under a full moon turned into a werewolf than that there was a race of these dog-like creatures living either near human society or underground.
Well, and if you look at the term werewolf, which is German, I believe, wer meaning man, wolf meaning wolf, man wolf. And if you go back and you start looking at different, like the old 1950s movies and the ones with Claude Rains and who played Larry Talbot, was it Lon Chaney Jr.
Mm-hmm.
You look at that is a wolf man. That's what most people call that, is a wolf man. And you would think that's traditionally, if somebody is bitten or cursed or whatever, that's kind of what they turn into. But then you kind of get into the more modern stuff, and it looks more like what people see as a dog man. Well, did it evolve that way in cinema because the dog man looks scarier and is easier to sell the horror in it? So what we're seeing in a lot of these movies now, where they transform into something that looks more like a wolf like that, is actually based on what a real dog man would look like, and a true werewolf is back to what you saw in the old black and white movies.
Mm-hmm.
Could very well be. I mean, yeah. It's a good operational theories. Anything I'd come up with. DC says, hey, did you all see the photo about maybe 6 months ago at Amarillo, Texas, right in front of the zoo? Yeah, that picture made the rounds. That came out about a year ago. Come to find out, that was a publicity stunt put on by the zoo.
Yep, Forrest Galante he nailed that pretty quick. He said, I believe that's fake, and then a couple months later, they admitted that I think it was an animal that they had trained or something like that, or.
Mm-hmm. So I don't remember what it was, but they admitted that they did it. Jimmy G says, explanation of the two. Dogmen are enlisted full-time. Werewolves are reserves part-time. Other than that, same thing. That's an awesome description. I like that. Yours is an Eddie Brothers?
Yeah,
so's mine. So's mine.
Yeah,
I've got an Eddie Brothers slouch hat.
Yeah, all these people talking about seeing Dogman in Amarillo, Texas. I drive through Amarillo all the time. So I just make sure I ain't driving through there at nighttime.
Well, it's not far from Amarillo. It was right outside the Amarillo Zoo. But it's not far from Amarillo, where I found that report I've been trying to chase down for months of deputies and some of the Texas Department of game wardens getting into it with a group of dogmen somewhere near Paladuro Canyon, between Paladuro and Dumas.
I've been right through there. Right through there. Know exactly where you're talking about.
I've had several people trying to run that down, and I've gotten mixed results. I've had some people said, I can't get anybody to say anything about it, and then I've had other people like, yeah, I was told to basically drop it. Edison Kidwell says, ever seen one about 9.5 feet tall, say 1,200 pounds? I've only seen one, and the one I saw was probably between 6.5 and 7 feet tall, and was probably in the 300 to 400 pound range. It was bigger than me, but it wasn't massive. Robert D says, Dogman tailed, werewolf no tail. That could be, because I've heard dogmen describe both with and without tails.
I've heard the same with werewolves, though. I've heard werewolf descriptions where they had tails. So I think, honestly, you get a lot of these different descriptions and things like that. You get some truth, some folklore mixed in, some embellishment. What a true dogman versus a true werewolf looks like, you may never know the difference. They may be identical. Just like we always say, there's nobody that's an expert in this, but it's like we did the show on the Tennessee Wild Man, and every description describes like different types of Bigfoot. There's some descriptions that fit a skunk ape. There's some descriptions that fit the Ohio grassman. There's some descriptions that fit a gugway. There's some that fit the Genosqua, but it's called the Tennessee Wild Man. So is that just an area where there's a lot of different species that cross around, and people have seen this and say, oh, that's a Tennessee Wild Man, but they're seeing, you never know until there's one caught and studied,
right,
for everybody to see and know. You're not gonna.
Folks in chat, y'all are giving us some good stuff. We're having a hard time keeping up.
Mike A says, do you guys have an opinion on cattle mutilations? Yeah, we did a whole show on cattle mutilations not too long ago. I think some of it may be cryptid related, but I wouldn't be shocked to find some of it's UFO related. Considering, just right out there by Doc, right there in, what was it, Meeker, Colorado.
Yep.
Some of the dead cattle had no marks on them, but others had showed definite, had been attacked by some type of canine they couldn't identify. And
the prints were way bigger than anything else around there.
Right.
Yep. I think Martin Napier had a good point on that. He said, unless you saw a transformation, there might not be really any way to tell if one was a dogman or a werewolf.
Good point.
See, somebody else had something on here I was looking at. Ronald says, how many types of dogmen are there?
Well, let me find the image. Give me just a second. I'll upload it because I know right where to get it.
Right now.
Hang on a second. I got to find the file.
What size hat you wear, Robbie?
7 1/4, I think.
Size hat you wear, DA?
7 1/4. Yeah.
7 1/4.
Okay.
Go ahead and, what is it, Buckethead?
7 5/8. I've got a huge gargantuan cranium. It's like hauling around an orange in a tooth pack. It's huge.
Look at the size of that head.
It's quite in parts.
According to some researchers, there might be as many as 7 types of dogmen. But I personally disagree with this because the ones at the top,
you got our pictures over there. There you go.
Oh, The ones at the top, the variant 1 and the variant 3, I think those are just misidentified gugway. The variant 2 in the middle, I think maybe another type of the hyena variant, because they describe them as being wide snouted and very much like the hyena. I don't think that these are. I don't think there's 7 types. I think there's just 4 types of actual dogmen. I think the others up top are just misidentified.
Well, Canine
That's
Variant
that's
3,
just me.
that's Canine Variant 3, that's a picture of Hugh Jackman's werewolf from Van Helsing, which
Yeah,
is
exactly.
one of the scariest werewolves of
Yep.
ever on film.
Mhm.
Yep.
And most badass on top of that, too. So.
I need to wear my brown pants if I saw that one.
Yes, you might.
That's the one that picked Dracula up and had him in the chokehold.
Old Dracula.
Docula.
Count Docula. There we go.
Them werewolves didn't like vampires.
Mm-mm.
Jimmy G says, still pissed if it's a government program that created them. So close but wrong animal. We could have had real Ninja Turtles. Well, they may still be working on something like that. You never know.
Well,
I don't think the government created them. I do think that they tried to weaponize them.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then somebody had said something on here. I don't know why they wouldn't be doing something with dinosaurs. They have been trying to do stuff with dinosaurs. I mean, hell, they've been trying to mess around with dinosaurs. They're messing around with woolly mammoth. I'm like, dude, did y'all not see freaking Jurassic Park?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of movies on why this is a bad idea.
Oh crap, man. Lord.
Steve says we would be a Scooby snack, a spicy one. And Doc turning into a werewolf would just be Scrappy Doo.
That's funny. You're funny.
We love you, Doc.
I know.
You tiny little bastard, you.
That's all right. I found out one
Sentinel's
thing.
in the house.
I found out one thing this week. What's up, Sentinel?
Thanks for the super chat, brother.
I still got my old man strength, I reckon. So moving all this crap around. Oh.
Robert Miller says hippo character sitting in an office chair when they both transform into a mecha chair hippo hero.
Oh Lord. I freaking hated Scrappy Doo. He ruined the whole damn show.
Jimmy G says they're resurrecting the raptor.
That's what it was. Yeah. Yeah. That sounds smart.
Yeah, let's resurrect a intelligent pack hunter that can reach speeds of cheetahs.
What could go wrong?
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong? Deloitte Montgomery says there have been people go missing from camping in a Paladero Canyon. If you can find any links to any of those articles, please send those to me. DARoberts at daroberts.net. I would definitely like to be digging more into that. I know there's a lot of weird crap goes on in Paladero Canyon because I've been there. It's been a long time ago, but we thought the place was pretty weird. Oh, we lost Robbie.
Uh-oh.
Robbie, be right back. For some reason, he loses his mic once in a while,
or he'll get froze up. Yeah, Paladero had a weird vibe, man. We went there. Angie and I went there several years back, and it's a weird place for sure. It's beautiful, but it's weird. Got some weird energy. Who said that? Twisted Steel and sex appeal.
That fix it.
That's right, baby.
Yep, you're back. 443 Big Vic says, I've never seen a hippopotamus, but I've seen many of the dependopotamus.
I'm Mrs. Colonel such and such. Yeah. I used to have to
You
deal
will
with
address me by my husband's rank.
Oh yeah, I used to have to deal
No,
with
no, I won't.
Yeah, there's Robbie.
Yep.
Where's my salute? You're not in the military. You don't get a salute.
I know, man.
Usually about halfway through, Doc, for whatever, and I ain't changed nothing, my mic will just stop working. So whenever it stops and I stop seeing the yellow border, I just have to back out and come back in. It's ever since we switched to this one, it's done it every time, hasn't it, DA?
Almost, yeah, pretty much every show. David By says Pinon Canyon is strange too. We need to check both those out.
I need to try to see if I can find the article again. I don't know if it's an article or a story, but about a dogman in Vietnam where there was I don't know if it was probably a group of Green Berets or something like that. One of them had recounted that they were it was either Dogman or Lizard Man thing. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but they were stalked by it, and the guy said that his sergeant or something, it was acting like, hey, it's a Dogman, it's out there, or it's a Lizard Man, whatever it is. Just like it was no big deal, and he's just like, what do you mean no big deal? I mean, you got a 7-foot wolf out there following us around on 2 feet, and it's no big deal. He said, hey, as long as you keep your head down, do what we tell you to do, you'll be all right. But I remember seeing, it was like somebody's recount of these missions while they were in Vietnam. I need to see if I can get a hold of that and get it to you.
Okay. Wasatch Sasquatch says Paladuro in Texas or New Mexico. Paladuro is in Texas. It's, what is it? East and it's southeast of Amarillo.
Southeast, about 25 miles southeast Amarillo. Something like that.
And David says Pinon Canyon's is in Colorado.
Huh. Let me check that out.
Might be a good place to make a pilgrimage.
Yeah.
Nix has heard a lot of stuff about the Headless Valley in Canada. Yeah, the Nahanni Valley. I think that's probably Gugway, though. I don't think that has anything to do with Dogman. But there's also a Headless Valley in southern Arizona. Same mountain range basically runs across that entire part of the world. That's part of the foothills of the Rockies that runs all the way up to the Nahanni, which is still in the Rockies. And it's a headless valley in southern Arizona where people they find bodies fairly regularly with missing the head.
Nothing weird about that at all.
No, nothing odd at all.
Nothing at all.
No. Pinyon Canyon Maneuver Site. It's a military place. Fort Carson uses it. It's a little over 2.5 hours from here.
Is
So it's close to Trinidad.
Is it someplace that people can go, or is it on a military base?
I don't know. It's 235,000 acres.
That's a big area.
Yeah, it's a big area. So it's probably mapped. It's probably fenced off, just like Fort Bliss is.
Well, we're going to have to start keeping a book or a journal or something of all the places we got to go to.
Yeah, we do.
There's actually an idea for a book, though, DA. I mean, not a fiction book, but an actual documentary type book of all these places we're going to go and research at.
I plan on taking extensive notes while we're in these places. I'm going to document it not only with photographs and video, but I'm going to be taking a lot of notes because I do want to do some more in-depth research.
I guess that would be more like a field research journal.
Something like that, yeah. Field guide. Jay Mommy says, I was always interested in the Sasquatch. I have them in northern Michigan, but my niece had problems with Dogman west of Cadillac, Michigan. That's when I started looking into it. Yep, Dogman is seen a lot in Michigan and Wisconsin.
Yep.
My chat's acting
funky. Brouchin says, I know a person who lives in downtown Boston who saw dogmen standing by a stop sign near a large park in downtown area. The head was above the sign. Those signs are 8 feet tall. That's a big rascal. And I have heard stories about them being in residential areas inside of town.
My God, Beantown Dogman.
Yeah. Jack Mack says, is LBL still active? Yes, very much so. There's stuff going on in LBL yearly. In fact, I haven't really kept up with it much this year, but last year I think there was like 17 missing persons in the park. I need to start digging for this year. Looks like Ken's in the crowd. Hey, Ken.
Yep.
What's up, man?
Ken.
Yeah, when you start looking at all the spider web connections of these programs and these locations, well, even what they were saying about the program that supposedly started in 1958 when they dumped out those creatures, a lot of those are in places where we're getting a lot of missing people and a lot of sightings today. The Appalachian area, the LBL area, the Mexican border, Colorado. We're seeing a lot of places where these things were supposedly dropped off. Where there are a lot of sightings.
And somebody just asked, are there places in the LBL that you cannot go?
There are some areas in the middle part of LBL where they have paddock areas where they're raising wood bison and elk that you're not really allowed to go into those areas. But other than that, you can camp just about anywhere with a permit. But LBL for the most part, I know the northern end. I don't know so much about the southern end, but I know for a fact the northern end, it's all primitive camping. There's not a lot of campsites where you can have RV hookups and things like that. You're pretty much gonna pack in what you need, kind of situation. Judy Wheeler says, I have a question. She's wondering about dogmen in Arkansas. I'd have to check some of my notes to see what kind of reports we've had from Arkansas. But my sighting was just, I don't know, maybe a dozen miles north of the Arkansas border here in Missouri. It's not far from Arkansas. So if they're right there on Lake Table Rock Lake here in Missouri, that's just a stone's throw into northern Arkansas.
Well, Werewolf Springs in Tennessee, that's not far from it either, is it?
From LBL? No, it's not far.
Yeah, so I mean, they're all over the place, all over that area. So
Toshi the Wolf says, I noticed it seemed like where Bigfoot were commonly sighted here in Pennsylvania, it looks like there's just as many dogmen sightings in those areas now. Yeah, I think the dogmen and Bigfoot are competing for resources. I really do. And that's why I don't think that they get along so well. With the Wind says, day use area is only in LBL. North End is a great place to poke around after dark. And I have, and I want to go back. Camo Dad 72 says, I've heard of the U.S. military using dogmen to clear tunnels in Vietnam. We get the job done.
Yeah, it would. God almighty.
Can you
That'd
imagine?
make me vacate a tunnel pretty fast.
Can you imagine?
Miss Naoma says, Werewolf Springs is about 40 miles south of the southern entrance to LBL.
Can you imagine the Viet Cong soldiers that are in a tunnel waiting for the Americans to come through, and the next thing they see coming through, it's a dogman?
Jack Mack says, are rakes common? I don't get as many rake reports as you would think. In fact, a lot of people think rakes were just a creepypasta that kind of grew in popularity. I think they're related. I think the rake is more related to the Wendigo because of similar character description, physical descriptions, and the way they act. But I don't know. I can't really say that either Wendigo or rake sightings are common.
Ken done got Doc again. He said Doc would have been a good tunnel rat.
Can you just see Doc crawling through a tunnel? Come to the coast, they said. We'll have a blast.
Well, he probably wouldn't have had to crawl. He could have walked up right in most of the tunnels.
That's true. Had a little headroom yet to go.
Yeah.
Lori Barnes says, I saw a video of a rake climbing a cave wall. It was creepy and definitely real. I'd love to see that video if you still got it. Toshi says, yeah, I think people are mistaking Wendigos for rakes. I think that's, to me personally, I think that's what it is. Delois, oh, okay. There we go. Yeah, Delois Montgomery says, I'm sorry, but the missing person was actually missing after a tornado touched down in Paladuro Canyon. They did finally find him. Okay, well, that makes sense. Excuse me. I had a belch. Wolfric Ridley, it's a dogman in British Columbia. There are quite a few dogman encounter stories out of Canada. So yeah, there are dogman sightings coming out of even in Alaska. Although Bigfoot sightings are a lot more common in Alaska than are dogmen. Camo Dad says maybe a web page, an interactive map for your travels. You know, that would be a great idea, but I don't know that I'm tech savvy enough to pull that off. If I could figure out a way to do it, yeah, that would be pretty freaking cool.
What was it again? What was the question again?
Because
I was reading a comment and I didn't hear exactly what you said about.
Is that about dogmen in British Columbia?
No, did you said you were not tech savvy enough to do?
Oh, he said maybe a web page, an interactive map of our travels and places we go.
No.
Looks like Miss Naoma's heading to bed. Good night, Miss Naoma.
Now, Miss Naoma.
Gay Bowers says, I thought you said Wilford Brimley, diabetes dog man. Diabetes. Roxanne Delgado says, DA, how many dogman sightings in Missouri? Quite a few. There's a lot up around the Hannibal area and some near Herman, Missouri. What we saw crossing the road, I believe, was a dogman, and that was near Lexington, Missouri. Of course, I had, we caught something on camera in Joe Bald. So, yeah, Missouri's fairly active for dogmen. David Bice is why I have Noah. Noah's good for a lot of stuff, but he doesn't know website design. We've talked about something about that. Robert D says, DA, I watched your older MK Davis video and now know why they call them wood boogers. Booger being the key in that video. Yeah, they've called them boogers in the South. Well, even pretty much all across the South for generations.
Yeah. My great grandmother used to say, "Don't you go down in them woods and boogers will get you."
Yep, Daddy used to say that too. That or the haints. They called them the haints.
Yeah, haints. Nick says dogman Bigfoot sightings in Nebraska. I'd have to check, but I think there are a few. Let's see. David Bice says you've decided that was a dogman at Lexington. I think it's what makes the most sense. It was on all fours. It moved like a canine. Its back was taller than the front of my SUV. Right. To me, it makes the most sense that what we saw was a type of dogman. Although it can't be for sure because the brilliant eye shine was just so bright I couldn't make out any of the features of its face. But I felt like it was staring me down the whole time it crossed the road. And it's not like we only watched it for a short distance. It was a good 30, well, probably closer to 50 yards between the two cornfields. And we watched it come out of the one cornfield, and I let off the gas and like slowing down. Was letting the engine slow us down. And I watched that thing the entire time. It came from the right side of the road and crossed all the way to the left. And it stared at me the entire time until it was back in the other cornfield.
Nope.
That's when he got the full three names from Miss Annette.
Yeah, I got my first, middle, and last name. You are not getting out of this vehicle because I was planning on it. I know I'm in trouble when I hear my first and middle name, though. Well, I was armed. Hell, I was going to see what I could find.
That's why women live longer than men, DA. That's
You're
why
probably right.
I love it when men bring their wives to my classes. I'm like, I know why you brought her here, because you're going to do something stupid and she's going to save your goofy ass. That's why.
I joked about when Steve and I made that film down at Joe Bald. How we knew the girls didn't see it. We didn't hear the van speeding away without us.
Oh man.
Shane from West Coast Dogman says, DA, what's your thoughts on the dogmen possibly having feline DNA since they can climb trees? And I've seen pouncing on deer. I talked to a dogman researcher about that, and that's what they told me. See, now we're really getting into to the area where I just don't think it's feasible. Yeah, splicing a human with one animal, or even a human like, say, anthropomorphic wolf. I can't see it being a combination of human, feline, and wolf without some serious gene splicing going on. I think the fact that they're pouncing on stuff from trees is they're ambush predators. They're smart enough to know how to ambush, and they've got hands. Raccoons climb trees. They got opposable thumbs. Bigfoot have been known to climb trees. There's lots of videos of Bigfoot up trees. It had nothing to do with them having feline DNA. It's because they got thumbs.
I'd say that's getting more of a chimera.
Right. And I don't think Dogman's got feline DNA. I just think because it's got opposable thumbs, it is smart enough to know that if it's above something and they don't see it, it can drop on it.
I mean, there's even snakes that do that.
Yeah.
Man, why
I almost got bit in the face by a copperhead walking through the trees one time.
Damn it, Robbie. Why? I mean,
hey, little guy, I just want to make sure you know to look up.
Bro, yeah. I always have to look up. I'm 5'6". Story of my life.
Doc, you can jump in my pocket. I'll carry you around.
Running a baby Bjorn. Shane says makes perfect sense. DA, thank you. Hey, dude, that's just my thoughts. Robbie and Doc, welcome to chime in on that, but that's just my thoughts on it.
I'm with you. I think that's getting into chimera territory. Where you got multiple species. I mean, what was the not the griffin? What was the thing that had the scorpion tail and the lion head?
Oh, the manticore.
Manticore. That's it. That's you getting into something that's just a conglomeration. How about that, Doc? Of a lot of animals.
That's a big word for Rob.
That's a big word.
You proud of me, ain't you, Doc?
Yeah, we're both proud of you on that one.
I am.
See, I got to up my game around you, Doc.
There you go. Break out your thesaurus.
That's right. Break out my Doc book.
Okay, y'all in the chat, y'all can stop talking about the damn snakes, all right? I'm just saying. I don't want to hear about no rat snakes falling on you from a barn. I don't want to hear about a snake that flattens his body out and glides like a sugar glider between trees. That's just like, that is a
nightmare fuel for Doc.
Flipping nightmare. Shit. Ugh. Don't need an
iPhone
when
you got Doc.
No, you better have a back because I ain't using mine on you.
Roxanne Delgado says, did y'all know there's a cave in Mexico that has boa constrictors that hang from the ceiling like fingers? They're blind. That's kind of terrifying.
La, la, la.
Doc's not listening.
La, 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 la.
You said Robbie needed a thesaurus? Kate Bauer says, Robbie says he don't need no dinosaurs.
Yeah, I don't want no dinosaurs. What are you talking about?
Nick says, I did have a conversation with another researcher regarding the feline aspect of Dogman, not so much in regards to cat-esque qualities, but something that is shared with tigers is the ability for infrasound. I don't think that necessarily means it's got any type of canine DNA. There are lots of animals that use infrasound, and it's not just limited to tigers. Elephants use infrasound. Whales use infrasound. Definitely tigers. I think it was I can't remember. There were several other animals I read about that have been shown to use a form of infrasound. Bats use ultrasound, or that's what their radar is. But there are lots of animals in the animal kingdom that have exhibited usage of infrasound. So I don't think them being able to use infrasound is any indication of canine DNA. I will learn to speak eventually. Steve Padden says Doc says they're nope ropes. Danger noodles. Doc, you're quiet. We can't hear you.
He's having my problem. You might have to back out and come back in, Doc. That's what I usually have to do.
Yeah, you're having the same issue Robbie's having. You're going to have to pop out and pop back in. It's Kidwell says 18-foot, 400-pound anaconda. That's a great big no. There he is. Say something, Doc. Yeah, we hear you now.
All right. There we go.
Ken Brock says, Doc, just remember when you visit, I have snakes.
I know, Ken. I know.
And Doc has plenty of ammo, so keep your snakes away from him.
Well, Ken is talking about, he's like, I'm going to help you try to get over your fear of snakes. I want you to hold one of my snakes, man. I'm like,
no. What you want to do is wait till he's asleep, then put one of the big ones in the bed with him.
Bro. Hope he's got brown sheets because he would then.
So you're saying like a corn snake or one of the big ones? You mean big ones actually, or big ones for Doc?
Well, nothing over 6 feet. It might eat him. Poncho Zort says he needs an ouch pouch.
We got him. Order you one up. Sales have been absolutely horrible, so we need all the help we can get.
Okay, I got to hear the answer to this one. Don Combs says, what does a thesaurus have for breakfast? I got to know the answer to that one.
I don't know. That is a good one. What does a thesaurus have for breakfast?
And no, Robert D., you do not need to find a spider guy for me unless you want him shot.
Thank you, Robert D. We're going to torment Robbie for a little bit with arachnids.
D says those rock pythons are heavy hitters, 20 foot plus. Man, that's calling an airstrike right there. I'm not getting anywhere near a 20-foot snake.
And them son guns are mean.
They have a synonym roll.
Nope.
A synonym roll.
A synonym roll. Come to Florida and hunt pythons. I'd love to, actually.
I would hunt them from a helicopter with a Barrett 50 cal sniper rifle.
Exactly. I'd hunt them from an airplane. It'd be kind of fun.
David Byte says, Doc, I'm about to give my ouch pouch to my niece when I get home and give her a Jolly Roger.
Sweet. That's a great gift.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I ain't oh my God. Why'd y'all start talking about freaking snakes? I have nightmares. Anyone see the ring with a snake?
They're talking about spiders too. They talking about banana spiders and tarantulas.
I ran into a banana spider web out behind our barn one time. I about killed myself getting out of there. I looked like Indiana Jones coming through that damn tunnel with all the spider webs flying off of him. The spider's probably laughing his ass off.
Lori Barnes says, DA, I sent the video to you. Where did you send it? I'm not seeing anything popping up. I don't know.
spiders and praying mantises.
Praying mantises don't bother me. I'll pick them up and hold them. I ain't doing that with a spider.
No.
If you want to get shot, you try to put a praying mantis on me.
Yeah, I like what Nimza says. Come to Australia. We don't have as many snakes, but they're just more bitey. Everything in Australia is made out of knives, or it wants to kill you.
Well, even the cute animals like the koala bears are freaking mean, and they have VD. Koala bears will give you venereal disease, dude.
I mean, just like touching it. I mean, because I ain't planning on buying it dinner and or anything.
I don't know. That's a question for our Aussie friends. I've just been told that they carry STDs.
Mm-mm. No. Mm-mm. Australian animals sponsored by Scallywag, Toon says.
Meg, if they sent that in my messenger, I'm not finding it.
Excuse me. Yeah, what's that
carry
voice
chlamydia? Squatch Watch says they carry chlamydia.
Nice.
Koala bears have the clap.
Oh my goodness.
The things we learn on this show.
It's not always useful, but it's usually entertaining.
It's a veritable potpourri of minutia. Robbie's like, what?
J Bomby says, have any of you seen the pictures of Dogman on Scott Carpenter's podcast? Trying to get off the snakes comment.
Thank you.
I have not. I don't get to watch near as many podcasts as I once did. I'm either busy working on books or on my own podcast, so I don't get to watch near as many as I used to. If you know which episodes those are, let me know. Lori Barnes says she sent it twice. If you've seen it by my messenger, I'm just not getting it.
Yep. Somebody commented early on in the show about seeing dogmen marching in like a military formation on a video.
Well, there are reports of dogmen being seen in Afghanistan that were wearing copper armor with copper weapons. That's where I got that straight out for Nightmare Hunter.
Out of your book, yeah. Out of Nightmare Hunter.
That's right where I got that.
Well, dog my cats. Thanks, David. Doc's hair looks like Eddie Munster.
You don't have a widow's peak.
Yeah, I do.
Well, I guess you do.
Very pronounced one. That's how me and Angie fell in love with each other. We showed each other our widow's peaks in the 3rd grade. Because we was both dressed as vampires.
I ain't got one.
Me neither. I'm not getting that message.
Hang on, she sent it to me, DA. I'm gonna send it in the group.
Okay.
Okay,
because I'm not getting it. Weird.
I just put it in the co-host chat.
I don't think I can show the video because of copyright. I'd get copyright strike. Yeah, I can't show the video. Trying to fast forward to see. Huh.
You're welcome, Laura. I'm here for the moral support.
I've got to watch that whole video. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't show the video because of copyright strikes.
That's stupid.
Uh,
Look at old Roxanne Delgado. Bald-headed men are naturally handsome.
Except for me. I'm naturally ugly. I know it.
Robbie and I suffer from a condition known as face for radio.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Like, how y'all doing?
well, yeah. Wolfric Ridley says, well, not sure of any dogman on Vancouver Island. It's called Bigfoot Island in the Bigfoot community. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a dogman sighting a report on Vancouver Island. All of the ones the sighting reports I've gotten from Vancouver are all Bigfoot reports. K-Talk says, FYI, koalas have a different strain of the disease, but it can be given to humans through feces.
So just don't touch their poo-poo.
Or let them drop it on you.
Yeah. They ain't like monkeys ain't throwing it at you.
Flinging poo.
Let my dog go home.
Oh, Ranger's missing.
Oh, he is. He's just laid down on the other side of the table there.
I was about to say, you probably find him in a minute or two because he'll let you know where he's at.
Yeah, he'll float up some air biscuits.
You'll smell it. Chemical warfare.
Bless his heart. Well, hey man, it's almost an hour 40 in, and we stayed on topic mostly.
Yeah, for the most part, because we've got talking about snakes. This might be a good minute to talk about our folks, our affiliate programs. Doc, would you know a little bit about one of those?
Indeed, I would, sir.
You think you might, sir?
Well,
why don't you tell us a little bit about those fellas over at Dark Angel Medical?
All right,
so big words.
Dark Angel Medical is my company. I started that back in 2011. We went live in 2012. Our goal is to give people solid trauma kits for anything from minor trauma first aid to major trauma. Oh my God, somebody's going to die. First aid trauma kits, and also to provide people with the training. There's a lot of kit companies out there that kind of Me Too things a little bit, but this is our passion. This is what we do. And we want to make sure people have not only the proper tools to make a difference in somebody's life, but also the knowledge on how to effectively, quickly, decisively use those tools to be a force multiplier when something goes bad. We have in-person training classes. David By has actually been to one of the classes out in Wichita, Kansas. And if you can't make an in-person class, you can go to our website at darkangelmedical.com, click on our training tab, and we have classes all over the United States this year. And if you can't make one of those classes for whatever reason, I always say this, if it's a work obligation, family obligation, or you just don't like people, we have an online training option as well that you can take over a month to take the 16-hour class. A lot of good, solid information out of it. And you'll never regret having this information nor the product whenever something happens. But I can guarantee you will regret not having it should tragedy strike. And it's just one of these things that I'm very passionate about. And I think everybody should have a medical kit, have the knowledge to use one. I mean, in my house, I have a med kit beside every fire extinguisher. Because if somebody knows where my fire extinguisher is, they know where a trauma kit is. And so if something bad is happening, you don't have time to wait for EMS to get there. People can bleed out in less than 4 minutes if a big enough vessel is cut. So you've got to act quickly and decisively, like I said. So if you go to darkangelmedical.com, check out our wide selection of trauma kits. We have kits for your boats, your RVs, mass casualty kits. We have kits that will fit on your headrest, fit on your visor, kits you can carry on your ankle, kits you can carry in a backpack, in a purse, anything like that, book bag. And so if y'all want to do that, head over there, would be much appreciative. And if you're just our way of saying thank you for patronizing a disabled veteran owned small business. use coupon code Cryptid25, and that's all together, Cryptid25. That'll give you 25% off of your order. And if you ever use anything in one of our kits to save someone's life, just let us know, and we will replace what you have used absolutely 100% free of charge. That's called our Kit for Life Guarantee. And we have right now we're at 170 saves. So we just got word of another one this past week. So I'm pretty doggone proud of that a redneck from Route 2 Seminary, Mississippi had to try to make a difference. Because if you look at a headstone, you got the born on date and the died on date and that little dash right there. Everybody always focuses on the 2 dates. I always tell people focus on that dash, because that's where you make it count. So we want to just make people's lives better and empower them with knowledge and give them good solid products that they can help people out with. Kits, Dr. Seuss book, kits on the back, kits in the crack, kits for me and kits for thee. That's right, dude. Ken, that's pretty good. I have to remember that one. But yeah, y'all head over to darkangelmedical.com. We have a YouTube channel, so we do have some informational videos on there. Last month was Stop the Bleed month, so we have some informational videos on there on tourniquet use, chest seals, wound packing, things like that. It's not a replacement for an in-person class or an online class, but it will definitely give you a good jumping off point to get started. So head over to darkangelmedical.com and y'all check us out.
Remember the Kit for Life guarantee as well.
That's right. And somebody asked me if I was from Arkansas or Louisiana. No, I'm from Mississippi, the crooked letter state.
There we go.
Crooked letter, I. Crooked letter, I. Humpback, I.
Yep.
I learned that on Give Me a Break. Was that it? No, not Give Me a Break. Which was it? Give Me a Break or
Facts of Life?
No, it was the one with JJ.
Oh,
JJ
Good
Walker.
Times.
Good times.
Good times.
Good times. That's it. Yeah, Dynamite. Yeah.
There we go. Well, Doc,
Yeah,
thank you for letting us telling us about Dark Angel. Robbie, you want to tell us a little bit about Scallywag Tactical?
Scallywag Tactical. If you've read DA's books, you've read about the Scallywag Tactical knives. We've all three of us have got multiple Scallywag Tactical blades. Craig's got another one of our veteran-owned companies that he has made, and he's out there, keeping the gears grinding and turning out some really good products for everybody. Doc's gonna whip out his little sword. That's Doc's mini jack, and that'll be the privateer. And this would be the Orca. And they've got obviously, you see they've got folders, they've got fixed blades, which Doc's about to pull out the gunner's mate. DA's pulling out the dew claw.
Look at the spine on that thing.
Same thing with the dew claw.
Yep. And not that they'll ever go dull, but if they did go dull, I don't know. I'm sure the gunners make the same way, but the dew claw would make an excellent impact weapon. You could knock somebody silly with that thing.
Talk about an impact weapon. That's the boarding axe. Oh my God.
Well, that too. Good. And that's another. Yeah, they don't just have knives. They've got boarding axes. If you ever find yourself in need to be a pirate and take over a ship, they've got you covered. And DA is about to show you that.
Look at the thickness of this thing.
Bam.
This thing is heavy.
That's THICC thick.
Like I said, if you ever find yourself on a boat and pirates are trying to board you, or you decide you want to board another ship as a pirate, they got you covered. That's Scallywag Tactical. They've got the blemish blades that most of the blemish is in the box because it got messed up on the warehouse floor or whatever, and they can't sell it as new. You go in there and find you a really good deal on a blade, and go check out and put code DA Roberts 10 in. I'll give you an extra 10% off that. It's stacking. Sometimes they even got that big boy DA showing right there on there. I've seen that on there once. I didn't have a.
Supposed to be more of these coming.
That would be the bounty. And
yeah,
like I
because
said,
that was just a Nick Cage movie.
This was in a Nick Cage movie?
Yeah,
Which one?
Renfield.
Well, that's awesome.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
But
that's what Craig was telling me. He said he's putting 300 more in production because they had him in a Nick Cage movie.
That's freaking awesome.
Speaking of that, didn't you say he's got some more Gunner's Mates coming out soon too?
I don't know if he's got Gunner Mates. I know the bounties.
Because he needs to get some more Gunner's Mates out because that's one I've been waiting on.
Yeah,
Gunner's Mates is great blade.
Great blades.
So
I like Doc's. His blade's completely black, but mine's pretty cool too.
I like your two-tone. That's pretty badass.
Yeah. So if you
that is a thick rascal.
If you like the completely tactical scenario, the one Doc got, if you want something that people can see coming at them when you getting ready to gouge them.
This one's out of production. This one's called the Valhalla. It's no longer in production.
But every one of these knives, from the axe to the big fixed blades to these folders, are some of the sharpest knives you'll ever put in your hand. And as we like to say, they'll cut you 3 ways, right, Doc?
Long, deep, and continuous.
Yep. So go get your Dark Angel medical kit before you get your Scallywag Tactical knife, because you might need your Dark Angel medical kit if you go around monkeying around with your knife the wrong way. Because I always say I'm not scared of my gun. I know if I'm pointing my gun down range, my gun ain't gonna hurt me. These things right here scare me, because if you ain't really careful with them, I've got 4 or 5 cuts on my hands where I was stupid, dropped it, and tried to catch it before it hit the ground, because it's just a natural reaction to try to grab something that you drop. It's a big mistake. Of course,
and one slip and it'll cut you.
Yep. I could have let it go, and my luck, it would have probably stuck in my foot, and I'd have been worse off than just getting the cut on my finger. But either way, a good blade is like this Orca that's my everyday carry, because it's got the flat edge up there. It's also got the good serrated blade. There's nothing this thing hadn't cut. My Jolly Roger, that goes with me in the truck. This is my shop knife now. My Jolly Roger is the one that goes with me in my truck, and my Sailor Assisted Folder is the one that goes with me every day in my uniform.
It's also cut you.
Yes, it's cut me several times. All 3 of them have. The only one of
you're a slow learner.
The only one of my Scallywag Tactical knives that has not cut me is my Dew Claw.
Let's not go for 100%, Robbie. Let's stick with 75.
It's attached to my go bag. That's probably why it hadn't cut me, because it's attached to my go bag.
I've got 2 blades that are my everyday carries. I've got my Jolly Roger that's always in my pocket, and since I got this one from Ken Brock, this is the other one that goes with me everywhere. This is since we're kind of segued, we've already talked about that. Yeah, make sure we tell them about the discount code, Robbie.
Oh yeah, hit the code DA Roberts 10 at checkout and get yourself 10% off, and that stacks with the blemish blades or any of the other knives. So fixed blades, folders, kitchen knives, even fillet knives, and pirate fighting axes.
Pirate fighting axes. Bless you, sweet pickles.
How do you describe the board and axe? I mean,
in case you got to repel pirates.
Yeah, I mean, or you want to be a pirate and you want to take down a ship in the middle of the ocean. I mean,
the Scallywag group on Facebook is a really good group of guys. When I was writing the book, the Nightmare Hunter, I posted a question in there like, "Can you throw the bounty?" And like 4 guys chimed in like, "Hell yes, you can. Let me show you." And then I got a couple of videos of dudes throwing the boarding axe. I'm like, yeah, these things can be thrown. They're like, they're expensive. I wouldn't recommend tearing them up and throwing them very often. But if you've got to do it in a pinch.
No. And
Yeah, so Jeff,
here's Ken.
yeah, we are also an affiliate with Ken Brock from Brock Blades. Ken's a hell of a good guy, career cop, just good as good a dude as you're going to find. He makes all his knives by hand, the old-fashioned way on an anvil, in his shop behind his house. Doc's got one of his blades. I've got one right here. This one's the Skein which is a Scotch Gaelic word, which means dark blade. This was a holdout knife that the Highlanders would carry in their sock. I kind of keep it like between my belt and my gun holster. Um, so I keep it as a holdout as well. But Brock Blades makes some amazing blades. They're all handcrafted. Will Gray Eagle carries the Ardennes in several of my books. But the Ardennes is the big Bowie knife version. But Ken, all of his blades are made by hand. They're high quality steel, and he makes a very good product. And if you've got somebody in your life that is a knife enthusiast, they will truly love a handcrafted knife, because these are they might be of similar design, but every one of them is a unique piece because they are hand forged.
Robbie, where's your knife?
We're Ken and I, as soon as he gets back from the show, we're gonna start working on the Ardennes.
Ken was giving you hell. He's like, "Where's your knife, Robbie?"
But
I got my Thor's hammer that I got.
Yeah, you can see we're all wearing the Thor's hammers from that
Ken made us. Ken doesn't have a discount code, but when you place your order, if you mention that you heard about Brock Blades through our show, through here, mention us, and he'll give you 10% off your order. So make sure at the time you place your order of the knife that you let him know that you heard about Brock Blades through DAX Machina, and he'll give you 10% off your order. And he's just an awesome guy. Like I said, they're all made to order. They're handmade, and they are absolute works of art. They really are. They are just fantastic blades.
Yeah, I saw. I didn't see the comic that rolled by too fast. Ken knows where it's at. It's in a hunk of metal in my shop, waiting on me and him to fix it.
Yeah, he's at the Blade Show right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's what we talked about. He said once he got back from that, because I want to try to get it done before Texas if we can.
Pyromedic says last John Wick movie had about 30 boarding axes being used.
Yeah, they did. God almighty.
Poncho Zort says, what's the Dark Angel discount code? The discount code for Dark Angel is Cryptid 25.
That's Cryptid 25.
That's correct. Trying to catch up on a bunch of comments I missed. Sorry, looking to see if I missed any questions.
Well, while you're looking for questions, the girls at Bonds and Booze mentioned the conference. We hadn't really talked about that last couple of episodes.
That's true. If you guys are going to be anywhere near Fort Worth, Texas, on the first weekend in September, that's September 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. September 1st, if you get the VIP tickets, then hope you come see us at the 2nd annual Dogman conference. First year was in Paris, Tennessee, and it was a great success. A lot of folks there, got to meet a lot of cool people. But all of us will be there with Doc will have some kits, and Robbie will have some. You want to show them? You want to grab it?
Well, it's out in the shop.
Oh, okay, never mind. Robbie's going to have some custom-made bow holders for those of you who are bow hunters, and they're pretty badass. I know I want one. I just got to get a bow again, and I'll be there with books and hopefully some T-shirts and stuff. But I should hope we have fingers crossed. Hopefully, I'll have more patches in stock by the time of the convention.
Yeah. Dude, hit me up. I've been so damn busy. Hit me up, and I'll we'll CC an email to John at Combat Swag next week.
But we got to get a bunch of patches made up and in before the convention. But I have books there, and hopefully I'll have a couple more books on the table. but yeah, we should have a lot of stuff there for you guys, and well, of course, we'll be up on stage talking a bit too, and we'll be there to meet and hang out with folks and we'll swap stories, and if you've got any stories you'd like to tell us, we'd love to hear them, and we'd love to hang out with y'all. So come see us at the second annual Dogman conference, it's in White Settlement, Texas, which is a suburb of Fort Worth, and yeah, the link is up there, right there in the chat. You can get you can get those tickets there at eventbrite.com. And it's going to be a good time. Going to be a lot of folks there, and I think we're going to have a whole lot of fun there. I know last year's was a lot of fun.
Yep, y'all can listen to me and Doc give each other hell in real life.
That's right. Oh, and speaking of, someone had asked earlier, new books coming out.
I am in the process of writing the second installment of Dark Frontiers. I'm hoping to have it done in the next week or two. Keep my fingers crossed. I've hit kind of a slow patch here lately. The last couple of weeks, I haven't gotten much written, and I apologize to the alpha readers. I've been trying to keep them busy reading material, but I just kind of hit a spot where I just wasn't really feeling it, wasn't really writing, and I hate to force it because writing is like a fart. If you got to force it, it's probably shit.
That's probably the best analogy I think I've ever heard.
A fantastic analogy. Absolutely. Oh, Nimza, stand by. I'll send you something, man.
Oh, where to get Eddie Brothers?
Yeah.
I think it's just eddiebrothers.com. Deloitte says you'd have to pay me to go to the Dallas Fort Worth area. Just too much traffic and way too many people. I understand that. Poncho Zort says forgot to add my discount code to my order. You might reach out to them. Send them if you're talking to Scallywag or whoever, send them an email and maybe they can rectify that for you. Scallywag's got fantastic customer service, and the guy over at Dark Angel is kind of a dick, but he does a pretty good job.
Yeah, he's an asshole.
Yeah, but we love him. And Ken, of course, Ken is the tactical midget.
Robin Blake says she got her ticket, so I guess
awesome.
Good.
Looking forward to seeing y'all there.
See everybody
smiling. Hopefully I can have a couple more books on the table by then.
I'm sorry.
Oh, Robin got the VIP ticket, so she'll get
to
see us at the meet and greet that night, or the Friday.
Yep.
Friday night's when the meet and greet is.
Yep, Friday night's the meet and greet. And if Josh has the same people cater it that he did last year, there's a barbecue place from somewhere near where he lives, and it was really, really damn good barbecue.
I can deal with some good barbecue.
I love me some barbecue.
Especially in Texas, get you some brisket. You got to get you some brisket, and you got to eat you a kolache.
Oh, what's a kolache?
Oh man, it's like a little yeast roll,
a
little bun with sausage in it, or different kind of meats and deliciousness that they stuff up in there.
Let me tell you,
it's fine.
Day, me and Brady went up to get my truck in North Carolina. We was having to wait for all that stuff, so we said, "Hey, we're gonna go eat lunch. Where's a good place?" She said, "Where's a little barbecue place down the road?" So we went down there, and they smoked their own stuff. Brody said, it's gonna be good when you pull it. They had a wood house out beside the parking lot, stacked full of good hardwoods. I said, "Yeah, it's gonna be good." I got jalapeno hush puppies with garlic ranch dressing for a dip. Oh my God.
Man, I just had to pop a bottle of Pepsi over that
mouth. That was the best hush puppies I think I've ever had. But we got barbecue, though. it was brisket, but it was like pulled pork, but they'd had it shredded up just like the pulled pork, but it was brisket. Son.
That sounds good.
Mm.
That sounds good.
I told Brody, I said, even if we don't get the truck, it was worth driving up here for the lunch.
Correct. That is correct. Oh man, yeah. I like eating all the local fare, dude. Y'all should have seen the mud bugs I had. I was down in Louisiana. When I was down in Louisiana, did you see the pictures of them things?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah,
dude. We was cracking the claws on them things and eating the claw meats out of them. Those things.
You don't usually get to do that on them little mud bugs,
bro. Those things. I mean, my hand is like from here to here. It's like over 8 inches, and those things were bigger than my freaking hands. They were. Look at this. This is my buddy holding one.
That's a baby lobster. That ain't a crawfish.
They caught them downwind from a nuclear reactor.
Yeah, bro. I ate 2 big old plates of those things. They were delicious. Son, they know how to do them mud bugs down there in Contact. They was fine.
Doc.
Yes.
Poncho Zorch says just ordered my ouch pouch and 2 tourniquets.
You are a scholar and a gentleman, Poncho. I appreciate you, man. Very, very mucho. Yeah, I hadn't had mud bugs in a minute, and my host Jimmy, he said, "Hey man," he said, "when you leaving?" I said, "On Friday." He said, "Our annual crawfish boil's on Thursday." I was like, "Hot damn, I know what I'm doing." It was good too. Making me hungry. I'm not even hungry, but I started talking about them crawfish, and you started talking about them damn hush puppies.
I can go for some jalapeno hush puppies.
God, them things are good. Whew. Lord have mercy.
Data Quester says, if you can afford it, find a Billy Sims barbecue and try his brisket. I love me some barbecue. Best barbecue I've ever had, I think, is a little place in St. Louis, kind of off the beaten path, called Pappy's. Oh my God, that barbecue is so good.
Ken, shut up, Ken. Doc could have been working out, but he ate crawfish instead. Yeah, he said, "What workout did you do today?" I said, "I ate 2 platters of crawfish."
That's a workout right there, man.
Come on, Ken. You saw how big them things were. That's probably like Doc eating 100 pounds of lobster.
Yeah,
he ate what he wanted and rode the other one home.
Yeah, I've never been to that barbecue place. I'd like to try that out.
I'll definitely give it a shot.
Oh,
there's a place down in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, that I featured in a couple of books called the Rockin' Pig Saloon.
And,
they've got what is it, Kobe beef.
Oh yeah.
I would walk. It's 2 hours away by car. I would walk down there for their Kobe beef brisket cheese fries.
Yeah, I would definitely try that out. Oh Lord.
Oh yeah.
Thad Brown has a medical question. Hey Doc, question: would you use a tampon in a wound on the body if direct pressure did not work? No. Short answer: no. Long answer: you could have a possible 3-dimensional wound channel. And a tampon is designed to do one thing: absorb blood. To effectively stop a bleed, you need to have compression, which slows the bleeding down, and you need to have, which is going to cause coagulation. That's why you use a hemostatic gauze to pack into a wound like that, because the hemostatic gauze actually has that agent which helps the body or the blood clot faster than it would naturally. If tampons did either of those, they would not be very popular. Now, I have seen tampons used for nosebleeds. I've used it in the ER for nosebleeds, but not for any kind of wound like that, because it just absorbs a certain amount of blood, and that's it. So that's the answer on that one. Hope that's okay. Hope that's a good answer for you. Melissa Ratliff, Doc, what's better for vehicle carry, the basic ouch pouch or a bigger trauma kit? Want to get a couple just in case, as these days you never know. For vehicle, you could get one of our headrest kits or a visor kit. You could even throw a hard case in your trunk, or you could just get a standard EDC kit, or what I would say, because it's got some first aid stuff, maybe the ouch pouch plus is another good one you could throw in there. And that's a little bit bigger zippered case, and you can just throw it in the center console, your glove box, something like that. So hope that answers y'all's questions all right.
Well, folks, we are just over the 2-hour mark. I had planned on maybe reading an excerpt from a book, but I know Robbie and Doc are both pretty wiped out. So we want to call this one a little early tonight and let those boys get some sleep. Robbie's been running around like a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest, and Doc just finished the big transition from one building to the other for the new Dark Angel HQ. So let's let these boys get some rest. They both look like they could use it. Doc's all tuckered out.
I am. I need to climb in my cigar box and go to bed. See, I just went ahead and did that one for y'all. You're welcome.
That's funny.
I would say I'm gonna get my beauty sleep, but I ain't gonna do me no good. So
yeah,
sleep.
I tell everybody I can get my ugly sleep because I ain't getting no prettier.
Oh Lord, man. Yeah, it's been a good show, y'all. Chat. Thank y'all for such a lively chat tonight. We appreciate all the great questions and interaction.
Absolutely.
That's what makes our shows even more funner.
And big shout out to the moderators. You guys do an awesome job. Thank you guys so much for everything you do.
Absolutely.
So, boys, I think we covered the subject pretty well. I mean, I still don't think the government created these things, but I don't think they're above using them. And if they release 22,000 of these things, it's no damn wonder sightings are on the rise.
Ken got you again.
I know.
Uh-oh.
He ain't
What
got
do
no
you say?
talk.
Short change.
Love you, Brock. No, I would not put it above them to weaponize anything like that. Like you said, with the influx, the huge influx of sightings we've been seeing over the last several years, I think, the internet probably has something to do with that. They might have been having a lot of sightings anyway, but with the internet, social media, and everybody's got a phone now, everybody's got a camera on them. Honestly, I think we're probably going to keep seeing more and more, just like with the Bigfoot sightings.
It's going to get to the point where there's going to be a preponderance of evidence. At some point, they're not going to be able to deny it anymore.
Right. You can't deny it any longer after that, man.
Right.
So, yeah. But yeah, thank y'all for being here. We appreciate y'all.
Thank y'all for being here, and thank you all for who took time out to wish me happy birthday. Appreciate y'all so much. I got a flood of people wishing me happy birthday on my Facebook timeline, and a good number of emails as well. So thank you all for all of that. I appreciate you guys so much. I had a really good time. Had a good day with the family. Do what?
I said, them bones. Toombs, that's my brother, Keith. Them bones. He's a chiropractor. So
them bones.
Them bones.
Well, big shout out and thank you to everybody that participated in the chat. Thank you guys who made it possible for us to have 5,000 and still growing. Thanks to the mods. You guys do an awesome job. Thank you guys for keeping the chat going and pointing out questions when we miss them. And appreciate each and every one of y'all for spending time with us. We have a great time. And don't forget to support our veteran-owned and first responder-owned organizations like Scallywag Tactical, Dark Angel Medical, and Brock Blades. We're happy to support our veteran-owned and first responder-owned businesses because we're all either veterans or first responders or a combination of the two ourselves. So we love to show our support for the men and women that made us free and keep us so. So thank you to each and every one of you guys that have served in a uniform. I don't care what it was. If you served in a uniform, you gave a big chunk of your life to help keep us all safe and keep us all free. So everybody from the guys who drove the bus, quote unquote, the ambulance, on up to the chain to the surgeons in the ER. Thank you all in the medical field. Thank you guys to the first responders out there, cops, firefighters, and everybody else that put their ass on the line to go into burning buildings or run toward gunfire. Thank you all for keeping us safe and keeping us safe in our homes. Thanks all to our not only our first responders, but our military personnel out there, many of which, as we just celebrated this last Memorial Day, many of which gave the ultimate sacrifice so we could have and be free. And I want to deeply how much I appreciate the sacrifice made by all of us that went before us. Remember the 22 a Day Foundation? We lose 22 veterans a day, and that is 22 too many. So if you're looking to give to a charity, the 22 a Day Foundation or the Valhalla Project are both that are very near and dear to my heart because they are big supporters of veterans charities. A lot of these bigger organizations, like the Wounded Warrior Project, I guess they do okay, but 90 to 95% of the money they collect goes to salaries and not actually to the Wounded Warriors. So, the 22 a Day Foundation, 90% of what they gather goes directly to the veterans. So, let's keep that in mind and get the veterans the help they need, because some of those folks are still fighting those battles. Reach out to your first responder and your veteran friends because they've seen and done crap that'll haunt them for the rest of their lives. That text message you send to somebody at a random time might be what pulls them back from the edge. So check on your folks that have been there, that have that 1,000-yard stare, or just don't want to talk about what they saw, because sometimes the strongest people are the ones that need the help the most. Please keep that in mind, and again, reach out. Make sure, even if it's hey fucker, you awake? Like I send Doc once in a while, even if it's just that, to let them know you're thinking about them, it means a lot. And again, keep Doc's family in your prayers. They've got some serious health issues going on. William Nighthawk, keep him in your prayers because he's still battling cancer. Pat Canada, Miss Lene, that's one of our moderators. Keep her in your prayers as well. A lot of folks out there, there's a lot of troubling times going on in this world. So, when you can be good to folks, be good to folks. I know sometimes it's very difficult in bad situations, but be good to each other as much as you can because sometimes we're all we got. Thank you guys for being part of the DAX Machination. We're proud to know each and every one of you, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. We don't have fans, we have friends. This is just us having a conversation with friends, just like we were sitting around a campfire, and that's all it was ever meant to be, and that's all I hope it ever is. I don't have any grandiose plans for us becoming highbrow and forgetting what our roots are, because y'all are our roots, and that's where we're going to stay. I'm far too old and set in my ways to change now. So I'm just a hillbilly from the sticks of Missouri, and that's all I'm ever going to be. So I'm proud to know each and every one of you, and thank you guys for being part of this. I've said it a lot of times, and I will always say it. Writing and stories are journeys that we take together, and I want to thank each and every one of you for taking that journey with us. So thank you guys from the bottom of our heart, from here at us at DAX Machina. We love you guys. Appreciate you guys and everything y'all do, from the moderators to those of you in the chat to the first responders and military personnel out there. God bless each and every one of you guys, and we will see you guys on Wednesday night. Good night, everybody.
Thank you for joining us. Catch us again Wednesdays and Saturdays on DAX Machina. A special thanks to all our channel members and Patreon supporters. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe.